Sometimes anime could have really good animation, fight scenes, moments that take the anime to a new level, and just a great direction. But hidden away, in a dark place, there are some animes that just completely ruin the manga's reputation. Like, bro, what is this? What's up guys, Endless Requiem here, and today I'm back with another video on 5 manga that are better than their adaptation. This is just gonna be me giving my thoughts on how these mangas were better, and as well probably saving you from watching these turned down versions of these great works of fiction. Also, I'd like to say that if I mention an anime that you like over the manga, it's okay, this is my opinion on them, but of course I'll give my reasons to why I like the manga better. So before we get into this video, subscribe if you're new, hit the like button and turn on bell notifications. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. So manga is basically the whole thing that comes before the anime, if we're not talking about anime originals at least. It's the work that gives great art, amazing writing, and if you got physical editions, it looks really great on your shelves. But sometimes the manga is embarrassed by the fact that its adaptation is complete garbage, or just not as good as it. So these 5 mangas I'm going to tell you can be read before you waste your time watching an episode of an anime that isn't as good as its original source. So the first one that comes into mind for me would be of course Berserk. Some would say it's the king of seinen, which in my opinion it kind of is, because of the great character development, amazing arts that are set, and also has some of the greatest panels to have ever existed in the manga world. This great work of fiction makes it easy for specific people to spot and see that it's really high praised by the manga community, making it the victim of one of the worst adaptations that a manga should have. The adaptation I'm talking about is of course the 2016 and 17 versions, not the 1997 or the movie ones, because several people like myself like the Golden Age arc movies because at least they didn't cut way too many scenes completely. Unlike in the 2016 version, it cuts a whole lot of scenes from different arcs that take place in this adaptation, taking points away from it already. Another reason that it's highly below its original is because it cuts out some character interactions with some characters, more specifically Guts and Puck, which this interaction is important because it shows why Guts keeps Puck with him, and also showing another side of Guts that we don't see when he's tearing through his enemies. I don't want to go too into why I think that the manga is better, because it's pretty obvious when you see the two of them. Now the next manga that is better than its anime counterpart would be, of course, Black Clover. Look, I'll say this first, I liked the anime of Black Clover, but I can see why people won't like it as well. I can agree that the manga executes the Black Clover more well than the anime, but the anime is still pretty enjoyable. I just wanted to put this pick because it would be a more suitable way to read the manga for this, but it's okay to watch the anime since it's got great scenes as well. Also the openings are fire, and I've never seen or heard a bad Black Clover opening yet, which makes the anime worth watching as well. But there are some problems with the anime that people usually complain about and criticize. One would be the animation that is used in the anime. In my opinion though, the anime never bothered me for some reason when watching, but when looking more into it, I can understand why people would complain about the animation. The art is much better in the manga as well, as Black Clover gives us some of the best manga panels of the new gen manga that are coming out. I really love Tabata's art style, and the black and white feeling just suits Black Clover way better than the colors that the anime uses. I'm not saying that the anime colors are bad, I just prefer the manga for it, as well as a lot of other people do. The flow of the story in the manga feels great, while some of the scenes in the anime feel lackluster and slow compared to its original source. Now the next manga that is better than its adaptation would be one of the kings of shonen, One Piece. I love One Piece's manga compared to the anime, but I don't blame it for being inferior to its original source, as it's a long-running series which just suffers due to its pacing problem. You see, One Piece is usually hated by certain people because of the long, and I mean long, length of its story, as the anime is currently at its 946th episode, while the manga is at its 993rd chapter, nearing towards the 1000th mark. Alright, now hear me out. I know the manga at the moment is longer, which makes people hesitant to start it, but if you read the manga, I bet you will be able to catch up in about 6 to 7 weeks, as it only took me about 5 weeks to get halfway, even though I was kind of busy doing other things as well. The anime, on the other hand, would take you months to complete and catch up to, since the anime's pace goes so much slower than the manga. The fights are perfectly captured in the anime though, and the memorable moments are done very well, but the manga is much better to go for if you're ever starting this long running series. But if you want to try to get into the anime instead, just try to watch about 30 episodes and then read up to the 30 episode point in the manga, and see how you feel about the two of them, like the pacing, the art, and even the way the story is done, as I've seen that One Piece has a tiny bit of story changes in the anime. My final thought of this opinion is that the manga is much better than its adaptation. Now on to the next one, which would be Bleach, another one of my favorite products of shonen and a very good starting anime or manga. But since this video says manga better than anime, I think you'll know that I think the manga is pretty much better than its adaptation. But like Black Clover, I like Bleach's adaptation in some ways. But for me, I prefer the manga, and I really suggest you go that path. But the voice acting and the soundtracks in the Bleach anime are really good, so if you're going to read the manga, just read it while playing some of Bleach's soundtracks in the background. But now for my first reason on why I think Bleach's manga is better, is because its art is just amazing in it. Kubo's character designs and the feeling of the settings that are really done in the manga than the anime, with it being consistently amazing while constantly captures the feeling of different scenes. Another thing that the manga does better is the pacing of the story and fights. When I watched the Bleach anime, at some parts of the story it just got really slow, as some of the fights did as well. I felt like dropping Bleach entirely, as I was at a roadblock in finishing episodes. But I soon then picked up the manga, resumed from there, and the feeling felt so much more unique and fitting for Bleach, which got me addicted to reading it, as I finished about 2 arcs in a short period of time, whereas in the anime it took me a few months for me to complete 2 arcs. But even though the Bleach anime had its problems, I loved how the Substitute Shinigami arc and Soul Society arc were handled, and it got me hyped up for each episode. Now the next and final manga that I think is way better than its anime counterpart is none other than Tokyo Ghoul. Look, I don't even know what happened to this anime after season 1, because that was just a mess. I don't even think I have to go over every single detail on why the manga is better, so I'll just say some things that are better and why you should just read the manga instead. First would be the amazing art Ishida draws, which is constantly great compared to the lacking art in the anime. Just look at these pictures compared to one another and see which one just has better quality, a better feeling and emotion captured, and just overall how the art is shown. Another reason why the manga is better is how the story is completely handled. Just why was this made as well? Important details, scenes, and how some scenes were handled are just completely cut out, with the characterization just being way more superior in the manga, as I connected with the characters more better in the original source. I'm so lucky I started with the manga first, or I'd be turned down from any Tokyo Ghoul product if I started the anime first. I'm not even going to go into this, as people already understand that you just need to read the manga instead. That's the end of this list, and hopefully I helped some of you who are currently getting into some of these works of fiction or are planning to. Just to let you know, this isn't a top 5 list, as I was just suggesting you guys 5 manga that are better than its adaptation. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you would like an opposite take on this video, which would be 5 anime better than its manga, just put that down in the comments below. Now subscribe if you're new, hit the like button and turn on bell notifications. It's been Endless Requiem. Peace.